Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 31 of the Shinesparkers podcast. My name's Amanda, and I'm joined by my friends Roy and Torvus, and also our special guest, Arkandy. And today we are celebrating the third anniversary of Metroid Dread. It came out on October 8th, 2021. I cannot believe it has been 3 years. I swear, I feel like just a few weeks ago, I was at GameStop picking up the game and running from those Emmys.
Yeah, it took 15 years to make Dread, and then 4 months for us to actually play it, and it's been 3 years since. It's crazy.
So, like, in Metroid time, 3 years is really just a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So we are going to share our memories of playing Metroid Dread for the first time and what we thought about it both now, 3 years later, versus when it first came out, and all of our expectations of it and all that fun stuff. I'll go on ahead and start. So I have actually a kind of a funny story. I went to pick, so I had pre-ordered it from GameStop, and I go into the store and I'm wearing my little Metroid shirt, got a cute little skirt with it. And a dude, I don't know if he worked there or if he was just there, and he just goes, "A girl that plays video games. Wow, we need more of that." And I'm like, of all the games to be picking up, to be surprised at a girl playing Metroid, the game with the girl bounty hunter. And I'm just laughing to myself. Like, I wasn't mad at it because it clearly came from a place of excitement. And the dude was like 50. So like, he was a little out of touch anyways, but I just thought it was really funny.
Well, at least he's happy to see a girl playing games. There are plenty of guys out there who would recoil at that.
Yeah, there are plenty that would be like, "Get out of my clubhouse." But it was just really funny. I'm going, well, yes, I'm playing the girl game.
Luckily, we're in a fandom where we don't gatekeep. We're actually very welcoming and accepting of people of all different kinds.
We're very much like, please join the Metroid crew.
Please join us. We need Nintendo to see that we exist so that we'll get more games.
That's right.
That's our perpetual existence.
In the speedrunning community, people are super excited to see new people come along and learn the game. Like, everyone's just so happy to come out and help.
Yeah, like anytime somebody like brings up Metroid, like even just me mentioning Metroid, if I mention it to another Metroid fan, they're like, "Oh, you're a Metroid fan. All right." And like people get so excited when they meet fellow Metroid fans because it's like, you don't find us in the wild very often, I feel like. Or you do, you just don't realize it. Because Nintendo takes way too long to give us new games.
Yes.
So when I first played Dread, the Emmys made me cry. I was running from them because... So when I get chased, I get really nervous, and eventually I was fine, but I definitely was crying from the Emmys because I'm pathetic like that. But at the same time, it was really funny. I think there's like a Twitch clip of me somewhere just running from an Emmy and crying, like, go away. And then I had to eval for my green belt in Tai Chi. And I didn't know I was going to be doing that the next morning. So, like, I did not do well. So I was like, I was up all night playing Metroid, and I was running from Emmys, and I'm, like, crying again. So I don't remember anything. They're like, "Oh, it's okay. We'll just do it again next time. It's not that big of a deal." So, yeah, that was my experience with Metroid Dread. Honestly, the way I pictured Dread, I just thought it looked really cool, and I was just excited to play it. I had just played Prime, I want to say, right before Dread came out. So, like, I was itching for more Metroid at the time, so it was great timing. Arkandy, actually, I'm going to have you going ahead and go next. And first of all, why don't you tell us about yourself since you're our special guest this time?
Very well. I am Arkandy. I am known maybe for speedrunning Metroid Dread. I do hold 2 world records currently. To share my first memories of playing Dread, I remember being very excited for the game because obviously any Metroid fan will feel this, but it had been a long time since the last like main title on a console. The last game I had played before then was probably Other M, something like, I don't know, more than 10 years ago. I don't even know. So yeah, I was very excited to play the game. I also heard you saying, Amanda, how you had this fancy midnight camping party waiting for the game to come out. I don't think we have that kind of stuff here. I think the best people do here is like camp the stores early in the morning the next day. So that's all I had. But as for playing the game, I really enjoyed it. I thought the controls felt really smooth, like an upgrade even from older games, and I just couldn't wait to keep on playing it. And I was also very scared of the enemies. It gave me some Samus X vibes from Metroid Fusion. I didn't want to go near them at all.
They're terrifying. And yes, I see the similarities between them and SAX, definitely. Because I felt the exact same way running from her.
Yeah, the Emmy make the SAX look like a Velvet Elvis painting.
So Fusion was the very first Metroid game I played, so I've always wanted something like Metroid Dread. It's basically the biggest gaming dream of mine to play that game, and it didn't disappoint at all. But I'm the kind of person that likes to research things, so even before the game released, I did a lot of research on the game, and I wasn't scared of the enemy at all when I started playing because I kind of knew how fast they were, and I knew of its capabilities, pretty much. Actually, the first thing I actually did in that game was to check if there were some bugs from Samus Returns still in there. Like the single wall jump, where you just immediately shoot and after wall jumping and you can just continue. That was patched, but we found other ways. So yeah, I'll probably do something similar when Prime 4 happens. But to continue the topic of Metroid Dread, I remember just being completely enamored with that game. I loved how the game looked, and I was super excited for the movement because I saw that it was buttery smooth, and it is. And since playing it for the first time, I had like over 1,000 hours playing that game. I freaking love it. Such a big fan.
As I said earlier, we've been waiting for Dread for so long. I first joined the Metroid community in 2009. I was an editor of Wikitroid for a long time, and I discovered their article on Dread, where it talked about Craig Harris's saying that he had seen a plot for Dread. Craig Harris used to work for IGN, but no one had seen Dread. They announced it too early or it got leaked, and so it became kind of an urban legend. So I had waited for Dread for all of that time, and after Samus Returns had that little teaser with the Chozo memories of something happening, I thought, maybe the time is right. In 2021, I had this sort of feeling like maybe this is our year. And when they revealed Dread, I freaked out, screamed, cried, sobbed. I do that for every Metroid game. I'm such a fanboy. When it came to playing the game, I also started at midnight because I had it preloaded onto my Switch. I also ordered the special edition. I had to import it from the UK. That came a few weeks later. So I have a digital and physical copy. But when it came to playing Dread, because I had it preloaded on my Switch, I was able to start it as soon as it hit midnight. And I played a bit of it. I didn't want to do too much because I knew that if I stayed up until 5 a.m., like I did with another game before, then it would really screw up my circadian rhythm, which at this point is beyond repair. That's a whole other story. But the next morning, I woke up and I played it for the majority of the day. I did take a break because Leon, who's another member of our team, was streaming it for their site, NintyBuzz, and so I was co-commentating their stream along with Darren. I think Leon made it to a point in Dread where neither of us had been, and we both left because we didn't want spoilers.
Understandable.
But I kept playing throughout that day and falling more and more and more in love with it. The action is top-notch, the atmosphere incredible, the story brilliant. That twist at the end, very rewarding for a longtime fan. I think in all, it took me a day and a half to complete Dread because I blocked off everything and I wanted to have all the time in the world with it. I'd waited for it for a significant portion of my life. Mm-hmm. Anyway, long story. General point is, love Dread. It's revitalized Metroid. It's surpassed all of our expectations, and I think that Metroid is only going to get better from here on out.
Absolutely. By the way, I played to midnight and I was like, I should probably sleep now, even if I don't want to. I'm not sure how I got to sleep even, because there's a game right before me that I would have to play. And I basically didn't go anywhere on the internet until I'd beaten the game like 100%. Because I didn't want to be spoiled at all. It's special. It's special when a Metro game releases. Especially a new one.
Yes, which is a very, very rare event. I mean, it's good on the one hand because it means that they're cooking up something special. It's bad on the other because, we want more.
Yeah.
And we've gone entire almost decades without anything. Twice.
I also made a point to play the game fully casually before I even consider speedrunning or going into communities and everything. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, well, it's been a while, but it's been 3 years. But I believe I played I guess it came out Friday. I played a bit Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. I guess I finished it during the weekend. I only played it on stream, so I could show it to people who watched me at the time. And I guess that was enough time to finish the game, but I wasn't trying to go especially fast, and I even got lost many times, just, Metroid things. You gotta shoot at the ceilings and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I got stuck a few times.
All right. So something that I am not good at, but I absolutely admire and respect is speedrunning. And so Torvus and Arkandy, we're going to have you guys lead the discussion there on speedrunning and the history of Dread's speedrunning scene.
Yay!
Very well.
My favorite thing.
Where do we even start? It's only been 3 years, which isn't a lot of time in terms of the progression for a speed game, but a lot has happened in the Dread speedruns and the community. Where do we even start?
Well, I was thinking about just going through what happened the first 2 years. I know that a lot of tricks were found the first day, or at least the first month.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Yeah, for example, the pseudo-wave beam trick was found the first day, basically the first minute it was documented. And that did affect the speedrun, because we can now skip the first ME, like the broken ME, and it's applicable everywhere, basically.
Yeah, there are dozens of setups for pseudo-wave. If you don't know what the pseudo-wave is wave beam is the cannon ability that lets you shoot through terrain, ceilings, walls, everything. So that there are setups that allow you to shoot non-wave beams through terrain like that. It's not, of course, as powerful as the real wave beam, but that's why we call it pseudo-wave. I remember that I finished my casual playthrough and then I started learning the game. I at first I just tried to go a little faster for those illustrations you get at the end of the playthrough if you play it fast, which for the devs fast is like sub 4 hours or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And when I started doing that, I finished my first run. I was pretty happy with it. Then I went to look at the world record and I saw them just skipping entire sections with these pseudo wave shots. And I'm like, wow, I'm not doing that. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. 4 hours is actually pretty good time for Metroid Dread if you're playing glitchless and casually. But there's a lot of things that can be skipped, especially with today's glitches. We're doing crazy stuff. It's scary.
I think my first ever completion time was 11 hours, 11 or 12.
Same, actually. I think I ended at 12-ish as well.
I'm pretty sure mine was longer because I get lost a lot.
I was roughly at 11 hours myself. Ravenbeak messed me up, so I actually went to get almost all of the tanks just so I could beat him up.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that had a hard time with him.
No.
Okay.
You weren't.
Oh, everyone did.
Yeah, I had a hard time too.
I had a lot of trouble too.
Yeah. Each and every boss encounter I got to, except for Corpius, was so difficult that I was beaten at least 5 to 10 times.
The beauty with Dread's boss battles, though, they have patterns, so you can quickly master them.
This is true, and that is what I loved about it, is you could see your progress so quickly how you could easily just be like, oh, okay, 10 minutes ago I was having the absolute worst time and now I'm like dodging all these attacks and figuring out exactly what to do. And I liked seeing just that progress in such a small amount of time.
Yeah. Ravenbeak gave me such trouble. And then eventually I was able to like go back and beat him in one try. Like when reloading the file after completing it for the first time.
Yeah, it's crazy how easy Ravenbeak is now. And all of the bosses, if you truly know them, that's pretty cool. But getting back to the topic of the speedruns, initially we didn't have any huge glitches, so we didn't have like unrestricted and NMG. The speedruns were basically depending on the categories like any percent, 100%, and 0% or low percent at the time. But we did find bigger glitches eventually. And one of them was cam lock. Cam lock is when you're doing something weird with the game that the camera just doesn't move, but Samus moves. That allowed us to do something really huge, which meant that we had to divide the game even more, like unrestricted, which has major glitches like cam lock, and no major glitches, which is basically what we had before.
So a little context on the camera lock glitch. It's you can only do it in one specific part of the game, like in the first area. It's where you would have this melee tutorial, which I think the 3DS game also had this melee attack, but not the old games. So it's like a little tutorial to explain how to do that. And anyway, if you do some special things, you can get the camera locked. But like you can still control Samus, just the camera will not follow you around through the rooms. It's as though you can play in like an open world because there are no room transitions. And if you go too far from the camera, collisions are not loaded. So you are able to reach rooms that would otherwise be locked out until you acquire abilities later in the game. So the most notable thing you can do with that is get screw attack, like on your second visit to Artaria. And this was found in the first month that the game came out, like within the first month of release. And this discovery, along with a few other glitches with invincibility, which you could do a very quick morph setup on an Emmy door to become invincible. And another trick called Shine Sync Clip, it's kind of an abomination of multiple inputs going in at once that allows you to clip down floors with just one tile thickness. Anyway, these tricks were put together to create the infamous suitless route, which was run like early November. Most of the top runners like ditched whatever route they were doing before to learn the crazy tricks that went into that route, suitless. And yeah, I mean, it was a very, very fast. It was at least 10 minutes faster than what any percent was before. It was very exciting to watch.
A big reason why it's like 10 minutes faster too is that it allowed you to skip gravity and Varisuit. And gravity especially is a huge thing to skip because gravity suit is tied to the frozen CDR section. So you're skipping experiment 2 and a lot of backtracking. But it did have like one peculiar glitch, which was to make yourself invincible. And then in Ferenia, you're like doing a counter on the Emmy in such a way that you're turned against the camera or like turned towards the player. And that allowed you to speed boost on the spot and shine spark up the watery shaft that you would normally not be able to get up without gravity.
Yeah, that is still probably my favorite trick from that route. Being able to just sit there with the Emmy and chilling, because we all know how scary the Emmys can be, but you could use invincibility to just chill with the Emmy. No need to be scared or anything. So that was kind of funny.
It was pretty difficult too. I think you had to be frame perfect, if I'm not mistaken. And my timing was the song from Queen, We Will Rock You, I think. Like you do the first spin jump and then you do the space jump and it's like dun dun tsh, dun dun tsh. And at the last beat, I countered the Emmy, and that helped me get the trick more successfully.
So not only were you able to do the trick, you did it in style. I approve.
Basically, yeah.
So everything was nice and dandy with this suitless route, but this route only existed for about 2 weeks before Nintendo patched version 1.0.3 and removed invincibility. I think that pushed a lot of people away from the game because all these crazy tricks took a lot of work from the people in the community to figure out, and yeah, it was. I think a lot of people just like a little hurt from that, and stopped like labbing more tricks. From that point onward, that I think that's when the split between 80% unrestricted and NMG became more clear. There were also the new rulings for allowing turbo on the leaderboard, and from that point onward, new discoveries were a lot slower than they were in the first month or two.
Yeah, that's right. I think we started with turbo in January. We allowed basically every turbo controller to be used with an effective cap on 20 hertz. Which I got a controller with 20 hertz because that's fast. That's faster, you know. So I'm cheating like that. But the difficult thing with turbo controllers, again, is that the sticks are usually of poor quality. So personally, I kind of feel like turbo runs are still pretty impressive. That's speaking of my personal experience.
Yeah, I personally prefer to continue playing without turbo. But I mean, it's in the rules. Anyone can play however they prefer. I will say that even pro controllers are not exempt from issues. I still have to contend with a lot of snapback and drifting from the official Nintendo Pro controllers. So it can go both ways, whether you get a turbo controller from a third party or even the official controllers.
They've never fixed that.
Snapback is when the stick goes in the opposite direction when you're not inputting, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Let's say you were pushing to the left, so you release it. It should go to neutral, but it's still, for a short amount of time, it still goes over to the right for a moment before going back to neutral. Yeah, it can make things like, imagine like you're jumping one direction, and then you get snapback, and you go backward.
That's not really good. Yeah. You basically have to be lucky when you're getting pro controllers because not every controller has the same issue at the same degree, basically.
There's definitely a bit of RNG to it, real life RNG to it. I've played through 2 pro controllers since I started playing Switch games, and the first one didn't really have many issues until I really worn it from use. The second one had issues out of the box, and yeah, it always had a bit of snapback. It got worse over time, but it always had it. But anyway, back to the speedrun topic. The turbo rulings happened. The split between no major glitches and unrestricted happened. So since the invincibility glitch got patched, the 2 categories were very close in time. No major glitches was only something like 3 minutes slower than unrestricted, and unrestricted had very few actual time-saving tricks. So it was kind of an uneventful time for Metroid Dread speedruns. I think the next trick that got found was short boost, which is a trick that allows you to charge up a speed booster. Normally you'd require something like 18 tiles of space to fully build up a speed booster. And with the short boost, you could combine like a circular movement of the control stick while you're doing a flash shift to make it into 15 tiles. And that also allowed an alternative to acquiring screw attack early.
Yeah. A big skip was to get screw attack early for the aforementioned experiment skip. And the biggest difference between NMG and unrestricted at that point was that skip, because unrestricted still had camera lock, which you could use to get to screw attack, but NMG didn't have early screw attack in the same way. They had to use early space jump to get up there. But after short boost came around, people found a very difficult short boost strat that allowed you to set up a speed boost in the cold room right before the screw attack room and just narrowly get to store a shine spark that you could then spark upwards from the water. That's still a huge skip today in NMG, and it's super difficult to do.
Yeah, we're also at a point where it's very difficult to find new tricks that are compatible with the no major glitch categories, because a lot of the things we've found since then have been major glitches, which are allowed in unrestricted but not in NMG, right? So the fact that short boost is, you could think of it as a major glitch, but effectively it only shortens the distance you can do a speed booster, so the community voted for it as a minor glitch. It's a very difficult minor glitch. It's not necessarily about the difficulty, but yeah, it became a no major glitch trick. After that, a new trick was found, which is an improved version of that Shine Sync clip glitch I mentioned earlier, which allowed clipping floors of 2 tiles instead of just one. And that brought us to a new route called the Plasma Skip route, which now you are able to get early screw attack. And from there, you no longer need to get Plasma Beam, because it was pretty much a mandatory upgrade for you to get to Ferrani and Wave Beam and part of the end game. And with the Plasma Skip, you were able to leap into that big cold room in Ferrani and access the Wave Emmy fight earlier than normal. And that also brought us to I believe we acquired the Gravity Suit early as well. It was a pretty complicated route because Shine Sync clips are difficult to do. You can die if you make a mistake, because we didn't mention this earlier, but if you happen to get out of bounds in Metroid Dread, you actually die instantly. So there are a few things we can do to fight that just temporarily. But I believe in older games you didn't have this issue in other Metroid games, right?
That is right. Especially Samus Returns had a lot of out of bounds. It's funny because I think the code for Dread has something like kill player dot outside scenario equals true. And the only thing that bypasses that statement is to shoot out a grapple beam for whatever reason. Basically, they didn't like that us speedrunners went through walls in Samus Returns, I guess.
Okay, so forgive me if you've explained this already, but what makes something a minor glitch versus a major glitch? Like, what is the criteria for a major glitch?
That's a great question.
I believe it's mostly up to debate for the community. I think the community, the administrators, moderators are trying to steer away from like creating a definition of glitch versus no glitch versus major versus minor. I think it's usually voted by the community anyway. But they also try to understand like how much does it break the game versus how little, or if it's just a small exploit of the physics and the systems. But usually I think it comes down mostly to a vote from the community anyway.
It's pretty arbitrary, yeah.
It's a difficult topic because you can compare different glitches and just like you have many different perspectives in which you could consider a glitch major or minor, like difficulty or the impact it has on the game or inputs. Like there's a number of things you could consider. So that I think there is no perfect answer for that, and probably other speed games use different metrics to make their decisions and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will take a moment to just appreciate the work that the moderators have done for a community, because I know from personal experience with them that they're trying to find the best solution based on all of the perspectives they've gotten. And it's so clear that they only want the best solution for like categorizing things and rule sets and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So I think that after the plasma skip route, which allowed skipping plasma beam to get wave beam. Fun fact, if you acquire wave beam without having collected plasma beam, the game still gives you plasma beam. Your shots are still going through enemies and everything, so it's as if you had acquired plasma beam. So fun fact.
Yeah, also when you're collecting plasma beam after getting wave beam, the game just doesn't care. You don't see any tutorials or anything. You don't see the Samus screen. It just says plasma beam obtained or acquired, and then you just press A to go back from that menu.
It's surprising how the game is built kind of sturdy in the way that lots of things happen in the speedrunning context that are not meant to happen. Some of the craziest sequence breaks you could imagine, but the game doesn't crash or anything. The game just holds up. It does weird things, but it holds up. So I was going to say, apart from that, after the plasma skip route, this plasma skip route happened before the end of the first year of the game. And almost on the first anniversary, the community found a trick that is currently called the Bomb Haze Q, which it's a very unique glitch in that you're able to detach Samus from her 2D axis. So this is meant to be a 2D game, but with this glitch, you can make Samus face into the screen or away from the screen, and you can use this little glitch to clip walls and doors. So this allowed some very crazy sequence breaks. you need so you only need to get to flash shift, speed booster, and grapple beam, and from that point onward, you basically just go directly to the end of the game. It is significantly faster than the other routes were. Currently, any percent unrestricted goes for 40-ish minutes in lower even. So it is really fast, whereas the other routes were over 1 hour long.
Yeah, and not to like put pressure on you, Arkandy, but who found those glitches and stuff that affected the routes so much?
Well, I did find some of those glitches, yes. I didn't find them alone, obviously. It was hard work from the community as a whole. But I did make some discoveries that pushed those tricks into the routes, yes.
I just remember seeing your video, I found 2-tile clip, smile face. And it was like Christmas to me. I was like, what? How? It's so funny.
Yeah, in a way more than actually running the game, I am so excited to just, even in my casual playthrough, I was so excited to just go around the game, try to find silly sequence breaks anywhere, which of course when I played casually, I didn't find any sequence breaks that other people wouldn't find. I was trying to get like that power bomb tank you see in the first time you are in Artaria, and eventually you can get it like with infinite bomb jumps, or maybe getting space jump early, or fighting Golzuna before you have the intended abilities. That is also fun when you try to figure out how to get a glitch to work, or if there's some interesting interaction. It's a very exciting moment when you try to do something weird and it works and actually does something useful for the run. I was so excited that I didn't even care about like explaining what it was. I was just so happy that I found the 2-tile clip, and that was basically the title. Yeah,
it's a crazy feeling to think of something being possible and actually doing the thing. And the one example I have is when I saw the health data for the SQ Corex, and I saw that Samus could probably damage all of that in one go. So I put some work and found a setup where you use cross bombs first so that it could explode right as the Corex starts to form. And then I charged a shard shot and spent missiles and screw attacked immediately. And then I screw attacked again, and that killed the Corex. And I was so thrilled. My heart was throbbing in excitement. Even if I kind of knew that this was possible, it's super cool to see the results.
It is for sure. Just as much as, getting a new personal best can be exciting, hammering away at a trick, and you could easily lose an hour or two or more just trying to figure out if something works or not. And then seeing it work is really exciting.
So I have nothing but respect for you guys and your ability to speedrun, because I do not know how to do any of that, and it's so impressive. And so to anybody that always says like things like, "Oh, speedrunning doesn't count," it's like, yes, it does. You have no idea how hard it is to pull off some of these glitches.
The one argument that I get frustrated by, oh, they just rush through the game, they don't enjoy it. Do you know how long it takes for them to get to the point where they can speedrun? They are playing it legitimately.
Yes, exactly.
And learning all the tricks. And, they don't do a successful speed run on the first go. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of frustration. So,
I mean, at that point, you know absolutely everything about the game. Like,
yeah, you've mastered it.
You've played it enough times.
I've been met with such comments in some of my PBs, and I have to say, I make it a point to first enjoy the game casually before I attempt to learn a speedrun. And I've only speedrun Metroid Dread. I haven't speedrun other games yet, and I absolutely enjoyed the game. That's precisely why I'm speedrunning it, right? I wouldn't really want to sit through hours of replaying the same game if I didn't enjoy it. That's precisely why I speedrun it, okay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And also, there are different ways to explore games. And as a speedrunner myself, I really like to explore the mechanical depth of the game and the possibilities that you have, even if it's outside of the intended scope of the game. It's like my way of exploring the map or everything else, basically. It's just a different perspective on exploring a game, I think.
Exactly. If you've played something over and over again, you need a new way of enjoying it. And this is one of them.
Well, I say that was all beautifully said. So we are going to move on to the mailbag. So last time we asked you guys what you thought of the Metroid Prime 4 trailer, and here is what you all said. Let's see. On the YouTubes, It's Zach Joraz says, at first, Samus's slimmed down version threw me off, so it was distracting me from the rest of the trailer, but I immediately started freaking out when I saw the spike-shouldered fellow walk in like he owned the place. In retrospect, I really loved it, and am looking forward to possibly the largest scale Federation versus space pirate conflict we've ever seen, with Sylux presumably at the pirate helm.
His entrance was so awesome.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool. It was a whole lot of, I definitely gasped. On the Instas, Powers of Dylan says, loved it. After such a long time of silence, I think it showed the perfect amount of the game to hold us over. Seeing the core gameplay looking as good as it did, confirming that Sylux is involved, and the tease of the massive environment at the end was all we needed. It's clear that the game is going to have a lot to offer and is in good hands. On the site formerly known as Twitter, Slayer says, I'm so excited to see what they have in store. The game looks amazing, and I'm really excited to learn more about Sylux and to hear the story of this game. And finally, let's see. Hudson Forrest says, will Retro turn this into another Prime trilogy? If so, how will they go about it? Also, I wonder how important the space pirates will be in this Prime game. They're my favorite, I'm guessing it's supposed to be one of my favorite aspects of the Metroid series, and I'm happy that we get to see a lot of them in the trailer. Well, my favorite thing about the trailer was just seeing the environment. I just thought that all just looked so pretty and so cool, and I can't wait to explore it.
I am so excited to explore that environment and just be in it. I have a feeling it will surpass the Talon overworld as my favorite sort of overworld area in Metroid.
So this time we talked about speedrunning and all the cool tricks that people can do, so we want to ask you all, what's the coolest trick you can do when replaying a Metroid game? Let us know in the comments. Well, everybody, thank you so very much for listening to the Shinesparkers podcast. And Arkandy, thank you so much for being on here and being our special guest and teaching us all about the world of speedrunning.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And of course, thank you, Roy and Torvus, for being here as always. We'll see you next mission.
See you next mission.
See you next mission.
See you next mission.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hello, everybody, and
Luckily, we're in a fandom where we don't gatekeep.
Well, I guess Metroid games are the ones that are gatekeeping, like mechanically.
A little bit.
Oh my gosh. It took me a minute.
Yeah,
I'm back, by the way.
Oh, welcome back.
Yeah. I walk in on like just Metroid things, and now I'm thinking of like those memes of like just girly things, and now I think there needs to be one that's just Metroid things, and it's just like shooting at ceilings, shine sparking, just all. I love the idea of that meme now.
You okay?
I don't know what is going on. I've just been really sick to my stomach all week, and everything's been hurting my stomach. So yeah, whole bunch of me are just running to the bathroom nonstop because. Sure. Oh, this is totally going in the bloopers, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. And we will see you all. Well, I can't even talk right. I've lost my mind. Okay.
The Shinesparkers podcast is edited by Stefan Wells with music from Maserati. If you enjoyed what you heard, we hope you'll consider following us on our social media pages. We're on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For the latest Metroid news, interviews, community features, and other exclusive content, visit our website at shinesparkers.net. See you next mission.